Hello, hello. It's
Hi,
Tuesday night.
everybody. It sure is.
You're here. I'm here. Sayla's here. Hello, Sayla.
I'm here too.
Say hello to the folks. Come on up. Come on up. Come here. Say
She's
hello,
been waiting
everybody.
so long to say hello.
No, they're over here. See, they're right over there.
See right there.
No, not over there. Up here. Up here. Oh,
We're gonna have to put a
you gotta
milk bone up there.
You gotta learn to use your microphone. Here, take this. Okay, you can get down. I want
Enough.
to get in my lap.
She got her. She got her treat. She's good.
So, the starting 10 minutes. Well, first of all, we're doing Time Warp, a game about, there's all these things in your life where you think you know when it happened,
Right.
but you don't really know.
So now we're going to be tested.
And I think people of different ages have different perceptions of time. Like, I'll talk to my kids sometime and they'll say, like, were you born before there was a cell phone? That kind of thing.
Yes.
And did you wolf that down already? I gave you 2 treats and they're gone.
She did.
Okay, well, here, have this one.
Okay.
Take
That's it. That's all
right.
she wrote.
And so we have this time confusion,
Right.
right?
Right.
And all of us do, just comparing different things. Like in the Bible, for instance, who came first, Job or Moses?
I don't know.
Those are hard. Like you don't always know exactly.
Some things feel like they just happened yesterday.
Yeah,
but
Job.
Like Job. I wasn't going to pull Job out as an example since you already threw Job out there. But I was going to pick, something like, did I get my hair done last Saturday, or was it 2 weeks ago?
Oh.
Or did I need my roots done before? Those kind of things.
Yeah.
Important things, Calvin. I don't know. We're going to find out, though, which came first.
There's a weird, I need to fix something. I just noticed something on my setup here.
Uh-oh.
Give me just a quick second to fix a little something.
We'll give you a quick second.
We're
all friends here.
But the answer to that question, by the way, is Job was earlier than Moses, or than Noah. Job was no, not than Noah, but Job was way back.
Way back.
Way back.
In the Wayback Machine.
Yeah. So good. So I finally got this. So so we're calling it Time Warp, which came first. It's a little bit of a history lesson, but we hope it won't be due to some people really don't like history. Some people love history.
That would be me.
You're not a big history fan.
No.
But some people love history, so we want you to have some fun too. So
plus, it's good for me to to learn.
So, like an example of the kind of question that we're going to have, there's a lot. There isn't a really good example, but here's one that I came up with as our example question. Which of these events happened most recently? The last execution by guillotine in France occurred, or the premiere of Star Wars, which is retroactively named Star Wars New Hope Episode 4.
Right.
But when it came out, it was just Star Wars. So which of those happened first? By the way, I have to get my thing off the printer. I'll be right back.
Oh, Mary Lou says her time warp was like when she was looking for the show last night, but she was in the time warp. It's Tuesday nights, Mary Lou, but glad you were excited about coming. You came a day early, so we know you're with us.
Yeah, that's right.
Glad to see you tonight.
Mary Lou was online looking for the show last night. My mother was too. Maybe there was something in the air. My mother called me and said, "Do you have a show tonight?" And then I said, "No." And she said, "Wait a second. Is this Monday?" So anyway, everybody's in their home. Nobody knows what time or day it is.
That's right. It all blurs together.
So right before the show, so we had a little success. We start the show 10 minutes early. And one of the ideas there is to get the show all set up ahead of time. And so one of the things, I had a printer problem. So I'm now printing what I meant to print before the show.
Yeah, I'm waiting for these.
Okay, so the question, did anybody have the answer to the example answer?
Nobody.
Anybody?
But I don't know because the comments aren't popping up.
The comments are not popping up.
They are not. Kristen left a comment. And do I need to?
And these aren't they? Yeah. See, what happens is when you go live, it switches over. Let me.
I just refreshed and it worked.
It all came in.
Yep.
Okay. That's the whole purpose of coming on 10 minutes
right.
early so that we can see those. Now, let me go over and get my piece of paper. So do you know what do you think I did first?
I'm hoping which happened most recently? I'm hoping it's the premiere of Star Wars.
Yeah, this is a little bit morbid, isn't it?
Yes.
if it isn't the premiere of Star Wars. So this is to teach you not to completely follow your gut in every case. Sometimes I have tricky answers in there. Sometimes I don't.
Joel says B was first.
Yeah, so he's saying that the last execution was first, but he's not correct. He's not correct. I don't know if I have the answer listed here or not. No, I don't. I have the next question. But the answer is the premiere of Star Wars was actually before the last execution in France.
Good to know.
That's an example of one of those things. It seems like Star Wars wasn't that long ago, but it really was. Star Wars premiered May 25th, 1977.
And when was the last guillotine?
And the last guillotine in France happened before that.
Before 1977.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't outlaw the guillotine until even 3 years after that.
Oh my word.
Let me see.
Who knew?
In 1981, France outlawed capital punishment. Now in 1930, in the 1930s, I think it was 31, they made public executions. They didn't do that anymore. Yeah. But they continued them. And the last one happened actually just a few months before Star Wars.
Really?
Occurred. So anyway, that's a little
barbaric. Okay, let's go to something fun.
Yeah, I decided to put that one in early. I don't have any more, Selah. You've gotten everything. So yeah, so we'll have these will be a little bit more straightforward. Now this one is sort of history. This one is sort of history-ish. They're not all history-ish, so stick with us if you don't love history. But so here's one.
Okay.
Which of these events happened most recently? Okay, which one was the latest? The Civil War ended, or the first football game was played? So which happened most recently? When do you think football started? That's really the question.
That is the question.
And then you have to know when the Civil War ended. So what
we have
what are your thoughts?
Well, people are answering number one on my side.
This is number one.
Oh,
the last one was an example.
Oh, that was the example. Okay, we have 1B. A couple answers are 1B.
And people are going with the football.
That's
going
right.
Against their gut.
Right.
So that's now. I wasn't straightforward on this. You can't always assume I'm fooling you. There is, if you go online, there's a bunch of quizzes like this, and they're all just like the answer because you think of the answer you think it is, and then it's always the other one.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not how this quiz is.
Didn't they play football during the Civil War?
That's the question. Where are they playing Civil War? Where are they playing football during Civil War?
I don't know what their football looks like. It might have been, I don't know. Pink skin.
All right, well let's just see what's going on.
Okay.
The answer is if you went against your gut. Oh wait. Oh, I didn't get the answers. This is not the version with the answers in it. So I'm gonna just have to give them to you. The answer here is that the Civil War ended in the spring of 1865 when Robert E. Lee surrendered.
Uh-huh.
1865. But it was 4 years later that the first football game occurred. It was Rutgers and New Jersey.
I was thinking it.
Yeah, so the Civil War did end. You should have gone with your gut.
So the answer is A.
So which was most recent?
Oh,
football was the most recent.
B
was the most recent.
Okay, well, we've got several B's.
Yeah.
Kristen said B. Henry said B.
They might have been playing football
B.
during the Civil War, but they weren't playing professionally.
Oh, okay.
They weren't playing. They weren't playing collegiately.
Confused.
Is what I really mean. All right. So September 10th, November of 1869, Rutgers and New Jersey, which became Princeton. Played the very first game.
Well, I'm batting 1,000.
Okay, let's
in the wrong direction.
Let's see it now. Now that I've got my stuff figured out on technically. Next question is, okay, we all know about Mozart, right? And we know his music, and might be able to come up. Maybe seen the movie and how crazy he is, right? But and we also know about the Declaration of Independence in the United States,
right?
Well, The question is, are those concurrent events? Was Mozart alive when the Declaration of Independence was signed? In other words, did he know that the Declaration of Independence was signed or not? So was Mozart alive when the Declaration of Independence was signed? It's a simple A, yes, B for no.
Henry popped up quickly with A.
He knows for sure?
He must, because he was quick on the draw. Al saying A.
Are you guys all Mozart experts,
They must
do you think?
be. I'm glad we have some Mozart experts out there.
Yeah. What would you say?
Well,
and just perception wise, who do you think, not what do you think is the answer, but perception wise, which do you think is the older of the two?
I think Mozart is the older of the two, but I mean, that's what it feels like. But if you look, I mean, again, it's
the Declaration of Independence was a little while ago.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a minute. So I'm going to say, yeah, he was alive. Everybody's saying A.
Yeah, well,
Kathy, Kristen, Nathan.
Everybody's right.
Yay!
In the 1770s, America was gearing to establish their independence, and Mozart was at the height of his career. From 1973 to 1977, Mozart was employed in the Salzburg court, and in 1781, well after 1776, he began working freelance in Vienna, and Americans were signing the Declaration of Independence.
We got some smart people out there.
Yeah, so he knew. He was aware of us.
Henry's asking, what is Mozart's favorite fruit? Uh-oh, is this I'm waiting for the punchline, Henry.
Mozart's favorite fruit.
What is Mozart's favorite fruit? I don't know.
Oh, I know what it is.
What?
I know what it is. You ready?
Yeah.
Banana.
Oh.
How about that?
I bet it is. Is he right, Henry?
You know what? I think I heard that joke way back when Anna Marie went to school. I think her music teacher used to tell that joke.
It like for joke of the week.
I didn't just come up with it. No.
Okay. Oh, Henry said banana.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Good one. Yeah.
We should have saved it for the joke of the week.
Next time.
Yeah.
People forget.
Hey, do you remember last week I promised this was going to be just like a fantastic show?
You did.
This is a fantastic show. Wait till you see this next question.
Oh, can it get any better? Oh, my goodness.
Okay, here's the question. Which of these very necessary products was invented most recently? Okay, which one is the newest? Not which one was first. Which one is the most recent one? Do you think the flush toilet, A, was the most recent invention? Or do you think the doorknob was the most recent invention? Which one is the older, and then pick the other one? Because we're asking for the most recent.
Well, don't you think you needed the doorknob to get into the flush toilet? Like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? The doorknob to the toilet?
And just to clarify, we're not talking about the running toilet. Like a river or a creek. That's not a flush toilet. A flush toilet is the thing that flushes.
Okay. The actual flusheroonie.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you know that there have been people creatively using water flow, right?
Yeah.
On the floor. No, the question is the flush toilet, the actual flush toilet itself, or the doorknob. And, it seems like people would be opening doors for a while, but maybe they always use the pushing, they swing both ways kind of doors.
That wouldn't be.
Or maybe a rope. Maybe you just had a rope with a knot in it and you just pull
the door shut.
That's not a doorknob.
We've got 2 A's.
Get off, please.
They're not coming up, but I
2
wish
A's.
they would. There's an A.
Well,
there
it's just a little bit slow.
It's thinking about it, and then once it thinks about it, we have 1 B and the rest are A's. Excuse me. Whew.
Bless you.
Sorry about that. Hopefully that didn't blow everybody's eardrums out.
No, I didn't even hear it.
Oh, good. Okay, it looks like it's A.
Well, here, I'll start with a little hint. The flushing toilet was patented in 1775.
1775.
And the doorknob came into existence in?
1774.
Nope. More than 100 years later. 1878.
No way.
1878. Here's an interesting factoid about.
I want to hear it.
Let me find Osborne Dorsey, who is an African American.
That name just makes me laugh. But okay.
He's an African American inventor.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of Osborne Dorsey? No, they didn't teach you that in class, did they?
No, but I did learn about Ben
No.
Dorsey, but not Osborne.
Osborne Dorsey invented the doorknob mechanism. And that was in
What
1878.
a great guy. He's now my most recent hero.
Doors were opened using latches
So you had it.
until that point.
Oh.
As you like, if you go to the UK,
Mm-hmm.
you can see like latches on old cottages and older buildings. They just have the little metal thing going through with the latch.
If you go to my hometown, you can see that on the outhouses too.
There you go.
There you go.
That's because they were made before 1878.
That's right.
So
Who
now,
knew? I'm impressed. This is riveting.
oh, you haven't seen riveting yet. Wait till you see this question.
I'm ready.
Which
for the
of
next one.
these events happened most recently? Chicken McNuggets were invented, or the floppy disk was invented?
Oh,
Which
my.
happened most recently? Which is the newer of these? Chicken McNuggets or the floppy disk? Floppy disk, of course, which doesn't exist anymore, but the Chicken McNugget still going.
I think I
strong.
have some on my back floor of my car.
Do you? Everybody has them. Everybody has them underneath the seats of their car.
Al is saying B. Henry saying B. Joel's, no, we got a couple B's out there.
Yeah, which is older?
Linda
The
saying
floppy
A.
disk. Where would you put floppy disk? See, here's the thing. Even though floppy disks in computer ages is a long, long time ago, the computer age isn't that long.
I know. I know. It's
So when were floppy disks around? Now, maybe some younger listeners are like, okay, well, I never heard of a floppy disk.
probably that's the
Right.
case.
And so they don't really even know how to answer this question because they have heard of a Chicken McNugget. And in fact, you would assume that Chicken McNuggets have been around forever. But yeah, you understand, Chicken McNugget, it's a pressed piece of chicken. It's got a really nice battered crust around it.
Uh-huh.
It hasn't been around as forever.
That's true. That's
Got
true.
invented. I mean, it wasn't an earth-shattering invention, but at some point, it made its mark.
It's
Kids
about
are eating them everywhere.
50 A's and B's.
Which you think is which?
Most recent. I'm gonna say B.
Yep. So the answer is the most recent is the Chicken McNugget.
Chicken McNugget.
The Chicken McNugget was started. It was invented slightly before this, but the trial for it in McDonald's was in 1981, and then it was launched nationally in 1983.
1981.
Not that long,
Oh, my.
but it didn't take very long to become the most famous item, or at least one of the most fast food
Must
items
be.
of all
Kristen
time.
says her kids love chicken nuggets. I
Yeah.
think all kids love chicken nuggets.
So the idea came from a McDonald's food supplier who provided frozen beef to McDonald's, and he believed they needed chicken, and that it should be bite-sized chicken. So he invented it.
Wow. Who is this? Some
That's funny you ask.
you know?
Yeah. Renee Arend.
Oh.
Arend.
Invented the chicken nugget.
Yeah.
What a claim to fame.
He was a chef, and he actually was a chef to like celebrities and royalty, and he invented the Chicken McNugget. he has a culinary history. You can look him up.
I'm gonna look him up. I'm gonna see what his other
The
dish.
Chicken McNugget was his greatest.
I'm sure he's not real. I'm sure that made him quite wealthy, but I don't know that he's.
If you think about it, though, he invented the tempura batter.
Uh-huh.
That still is there. So
Yeah.
I mean, and there's something about people like Chicken McNugget. So you don't want to.
I know. No, let's not question it. I'm not judging.
Chicken McNugget.
Easy for you to say.
1981. The floppy disk, 1971. 10 years earlier.
Ever since these questions are sometimes confusing.
Yes, because of the recently and formerly.
Yes.
I guess you'd usually ask which is the oldest. Okay, here's another. Which one most recent? Which is the newer
The newest
of these?
Okay.
Which is the newer?
Oh, my word.
Which of these events happened most recently? The ancient Egyptian pyramids were built, or the last prehistoric woolly mammoth died? That's an easy one, isn't it? Because, I mean, the pyramids, How long ago were the pyramids?
Long time.
Yeah. How long ago were the woolly mammoths?
A long, long time.
Yeah. So longer, you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking the newest was, most recent.
Yeah. Which is the newest?
I'm thinking it's A, but we
The
have.
question is, were the woolly mammoths marching around the pyramids? Or were the pyramids built on the
We are
graves of the
marching to-
woolly mammoths?
I think Al says A, David says B, Nathan says A. There's dissension among the ranks.
I will tell you that it turns out, as prehistoric animals go,
Uh-huh.
the woolly mammoth is one of the latest.
Oh.
You know, like the dinosaur,
Uh-huh.
older than the woolly mammoth.
Well, the woolly mammoth hung on longer.
Right. I guess he had wool, and so he stayed warm during the Ice Age.
Yeah. Not blubber, but whatever you call elephant fat.
So what's your guess?
Something like
What's your
that.
guess, Ida? And I'll fill you in.
I think the most recent was A.
The pyramids?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you would be right. The pyramids, one of the world's biggest mysteries. And you know, no one really knows exactly how they're constructed, with like sort of the perfect architecture and alignment and everything.
Aliens.
And that's what lots of people say. They were built between 2,550 and 2,490 BC. They were completed.
My.
So about 2,500 BC. That's, you know, roughly 4,500 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. The woolly mammoth, on the other hand, let me find where I wrote about woolly mammoth.
I'm dying.
The last Ice Age creature died in 1650
What?
BC, 900 years after the pyramids were completed.
That's what I thought.
So it's let me see if I can find. There's an island. Wrangel Island. The woolly mammoths were sort of protected on this island called Wrangel Island, and they didn't go extinct until about 4,000 years ago.
Wow.
So
I did not know that, but you know,
it's a small island in the Arctic Ocean. So there was a sanctuary. They were forced from the mainland by humans, and then climate change before that. And but here's a little piece of thrown in interesting trivia for you.
okay, I'm ready.
There's actually a tree in California, right? The tree itself, not the root system. There are older root systems that have sprung up tree after tree after tree. But this is a tree, okay? Is even 1,000 years older than the last woolly mammoth. So there's a tree in California that you can go see that was alive when the woolly mammoths were around and when the pyramids were around.
He says, now I can sleep tonight. We're glad. It's a service we provide. In case you were laying awake wondering about the
Does that mean the
pyramids
questions are boring? And he's sleeping tonight, as long as you're not sleeping right this moment. That's the question. If we're caught, well, even that, I'd be happy if that's the service we provide.
That's right.
A sleeping sedative. Here's the next question.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't mean for this question to be in here. This was one that got moved, but then I'm to an older version of the thing.
Uh-huh.
But which of the great thinkers was alive most recently? Okay, so which one is newer, younger? Okay, most recently. Is it Socrates or Confucius? I wonder if I even have the write up for this and say, yeah, I do.
I think, well, I'll wait for some answers, but
No, you can give your answer.
Okay. I think it's Socrates is the younger of the two.
Because
whenever you go,
because Confucius has gray hair, or what's the why is the one?
Because whenever I hear Confucius says, then I think of him as very, 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 very old and wise. And I know that Socrates is very old and wise too, so I don't know. I'm saying Socrates is younger.
What's everybody else saying?
Al is saying Socrates. David is saying Confucius. Joel and Kristen are saying Socrates.
Now, in general, in the United States, we are Greek thinkers. So we know more about Socrates than Confucius,
Uh-huh.
as a rule in the United States. Lots of people know a lot about Confucius, but we sort of relegate Confucius to like fortune cookies.
Yeah, sort of.
Instead of a really wise man, which he's considered in a large population of the world, feels that way. It turns out that Confucius and Socrates were actually very closely located in history.
Oh.
Confucius died only 10 years before Socrates was born. So Confucius is just really a generation or two before Socrates. So the answer is that Socrates was alive the most recently.
Yay! I got one.
Socrates is the answer.
Party over here.
But you do. I think of Confucius as a like way back. Like in my mind, I had it located, hundreds of years before Socrates, and it's not.
No,
10 years before Socrates.
Nothing. Heartbeat.
Yeah. So anyway, so they were two great thinkers that were co-located. All right, here's another one. Which of these all-American goods was invented first? Coca-Cola or Oreo cookies? They're both quite old. Everybody knows. I think everybody's thought about Coca-Cola. Knows that it's an older invention. But not many people have probably thought about Oreo cookies. only me and my research would think of Oreo cookies.
Right.
I like Oreo cookies. I like Coca-Cola and I like Oreo cookies. I don't like Oreo cookies dipped in Coca-Cola, but I like them both. And I just had this burning question: which one was first?
I think it was A. Coca-Cola.
So the question is, which was invented first? So this one is the opposite. We really are looking for the first one. I think these are the questions that Henry was hoping I would be asking.
Like I said, these are confusing.
Which of these all-American goods was invented first? Coca-Cola, was it invented first, or were Oreo cookies?
Looks like everybody's saying Coca-Cola.
Everybody thinks that
so
it's
far
early.
it's Coca-Cola.
I knew I could.
Did you trick us?
I knew I could find one that everybody would get. Okay, so do you know who invented Coca-Cola?
I do not.
Coca-Cola was invented by a pharmacist. Did you know that?
Yes, I did know that.
Yeah, it's a medication primarily, right? In 1886, John Pemberton invented it. Oreos, though, didn't get invented until 1912.
Oh, we got it.
Way
guys.
later. 26 years.
Listen, we're ready to go off the deep end now.
26 years after. I mean, Coca-Cola was a 26-year-old midlife, young and vivacious, and Oreos were just coming on the market.
Oh, babies, they were.
They didn't double. Who knows when? I didn't look up when double stuffed cookies were created.
That kind of ruined them. I don't like the double stuffed cookies.
Really?
I think there's just a fine balance between the chocolate cookie and the filling.
What about 1.5? Would you go for that?
No,
you just like the single.
I like the single one.
All right. We all know about the Wright brothers. Wright brothers took their first flight, but we're not so located probably on sliced bread. You know that saying, the greatest invention since sliced bread? So here's the question. Is the Wright brothers flight the greatest invention since sliced bread? Or is it something else? Which was the greatest invention since sliced bread? You'd have to know when sliced bread was invented, right? So which is it? Which event happened most recently? So the question is the Wright brothers' first flight the greatest invention since the invention of sliced bread?
Oh my!
That's my question for you.
Well, sliced bread became available to buy. I'm gonna say B. Sliced bread became available to buy. I don't know. Nope. David's saying 8A. He's going on common sense, which seems like a bad idea, he says. That's funny. Al says B. And Kathy's computer keeps freezing up, she says. Nathan says B.
How about you?
Me?
What do you say?
I say B.
Okay.
Who else?
Well,
Kristen's saying B.
So here's the answer.
Yeah.
The answer is that the Wright brothers took their first flight.
Did they take sliced bread with them?
That's the question. In 1903. In 1903. And they were not the greatest invention since sliced bread, because sliced bread happened 25 years later.
Oh,
sliced bread in 1928.
That's the new stuff. That's sliced bread.
Sliced bread. Betty White, though, is older than sliced bread.
I love how you come up. What made you think about Betty White?
Well, so is Dick Van Dyke.
Oh. They're older than sliced bread?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So anyway, for something to be the greatest invention since sliced bread, it has to be invented after 1928. That's what you can always remember.
David says, I'm disappointed in every human who did not invent sliced bread earlier. Well, I'm with you.
That's pretty late.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Sidney Poitier is also older than sliced bread.
No, he's not. I don't think about Sidney Poitier aging, I guess. You don't see him around.
Otto Rohrwieder invented sliced bread. He advertised it as the greatest step forward in baking industry since bread was wrapped. Sliced bread is the greatest invention since bread was wrapped.
I want to know who invented the bread slicer.
That's who. He built it. He actually built the slicer in 1917, but it was
I honestly,
Henry Rohrwieder.
I did not know to ask him that question. I thought I was going to trip him up, but no.
You think I'm giving you everything I know about these topics?
Well, I thought that would stump you, but of course it didn't.
No, he built a machine in 1917, but it got destroyed by a fire, and so it wasn't until 1928 he was able to build it again.
David says, so you're telling me my grandmother was alive for the invention of sliced bread?
That's the truth.
But not for the first flight.
That's the truth. There you go.
That's one way to gauge your grandmother's age.
Here's an interesting thing. Do you know when the modern supermarket was invented?
You mean as a supermarket, it was
a supermarket where you walk through and serve yourself. See, in the old days, you would go into a store and you would go up to the counter and you would say, I'd like some bread, some milk, some cheese. And then they'd go get the stuff for you.
Right.
And then you would pay them and they'd go get it for you. And then someone figured out that people could just walk through the store. Do you know when that happened? Was it before or after sliced bread? Was it the greatest invention?
I think it was after sliced bread.
No, it was before. Clarence Saunders. Clarence Saunders.
Uncle Clarence.
Of Piggly Wiggly.
Oh, the pig.
Piggly Wiggly was the first. And in a Piggly Wiggly, you know how you have to walk through, you know how you sort of complain because they make you walk through that whole first section of the grocery store. And in a Piggly Wiggly, you had to walk through all the aisles. It was just one big maze. You had to walk by everything in the whole store to get to the cash register. It was a big line. Oh. And you had to walk the whole way through and take what you wanted.
Oh, well, you know, Aunt Geneva Lily would have known that.
I bet she would have.
She would have.
We only have one question left.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions about Piggly Wiggly? Here we go.
Do you have more information about Piggly Wiggly you want to share?
Oh, wait. That's question 9.
Oh.
We already asked this question.
Oh.
It might be that my questions are missing.
Uh-oh.
Let me go to question 10 and see if it's here.
No.
Give me a second. Don't look at that.
No, don't look at the joke. Okay.
Nope. I lost my other questions.
Oh.
Okay, I'll just tell you question 9.
Okay, tell us question
9. Before we say what do you have to say? And I already ruined the joke. I feel terrible. The joke of the day has been ruined. Everybody saw it.
No, you didn't see it, did you? You didn't see it.
Here it goes.
No.
Here it goes. Before what you have to say. This is the last joke. Let me just find. I used to know how to do all this.
Which came first? Your memory loss No.
Here's the question.
Okay.
Which came first, Marilyn Monroe or Queen Elizabeth? Who was born first? Marilyn Monroe or Queen Elizabeth? Well, Queen Elizabeth's been in the news a lot lately.
Yeah.
Since her husband has passed away just this last week or so. So which is the younger
Queen Elizabeth
of the two, Marilyn Monroe or Queen Elizabeth? Why do you say that?
Because Marilyn Monroe has to be like 90 years old or more. How old is Queen Elizabeth?
Marilyn Monroe isn't alive anymore.
Well, if she were alive.
Okay.
Thanks for clarifying. We have David says Queen Elizabeth is younger. Mary Lou says younger, Queen Elizabeth. Kathy says Queen Elizabeth. I'm trying to put these up on the screen, but sometimes they come up and sometimes they don't, so I don't know.
Okay.
But it looks like everybody's saying Queen Elizabeth.
That's right.
Yeah.
It turns out that Queen Elizabeth and Marilyn Monroe were born in the same year.
Oh no, really?
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought Marilyn Monroe was like years older.
Nope.
No.
And they met. They shook hands. They were the same age. They met when they were both 30.
No way.
Yep.
That's interesting.
So let me find the exact date for you. Marilyn Monroe was born June 1st, 1926.
Okay.
And Queen Elizabeth was born April 21st. So she was the younger.
Yeah. Wow.
April 21st.
I really thought it was years difference.
Yep.
Nope.
They met at a movie premiere when Marilyn Monroe was there with Arthur Miller, her husband.
At the time.
Yep. So that's when they met.
That's cool.
I have another question for you. The one that was supposed to be number 6.
Okay.
That surprised me when it came up. So I have one more question I'm gonna put out there. We're gonna get a bonus question.
Let's do it. A bonus question for how many UTS bucks?
All of them.
All of the bucks.
Here's the question. Which is older, the invention of plywood or the invention of the Volkswagen Beetle? You know the Beetle, the one with the engine in the back?
Which
invented in Germany, Herbie the Love Bug.
I remember.
Became sort of the symbol of the hippies.
Uh-huh.
The Volkswagen Beetle, the little So which one is older? Which came first?
The Beetle.
Was the Beetle invented first, or was plywood invented first? Sort of hard to think about when plywood would have been invented.
Yeah.
But it seems to me complex to build plywood, and I think we know generally when the Volkswagen. We know it was around in the 60s, so it had to be invented before that.
Yeah, so I think the Beetle was invented before plywood.
What's everybody else think?
Kristen's saying plywood.
Volkswagen Beetle or plywood? Which were first?
Mary Lou says plywood is older. And he's saying A. Kristen's saying plywood. Joel's saying Beetle is older.
Mm-hmm. So a little bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah, a little bit of a mixed bag in there.
Okay, would it change your answer if you knew that plywood was invented in 3,500 BC?
It would change my
by
answer.
The Egyptians.
It was?
Yeah. The Egyptians invented it to cope with a shortage of good quality wood.
You're making that
No,
up.
I'm not. They glued together lesser quality wood.
Well, some
to
of
make
us
a high quality
product.
Out there. It was invented 3,500 BC. It turns out the Volkswagen Beetle was not invented that early.
Thanks for sharing. Wow.
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to get that in there. You know, another thing that's interesting about the Volkswagen Beetle that I think a lot of people don't know is they were produced starting in about 1930, and they were produced continuously in Germany till about 1978. And at that point, I think everyone thinks that was the end of them. But they were actually produced in Mexico until 2003. Americans didn't buy many of them, but they were bought all over the world,
Wow.
in Mexico, in Europe, until 2003. And I'm not talking about the new Beetle, the new remade one. A new one came out.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the old one.
The old.
And it was manufactured in 2003. I don't know if anybody thinks that's interesting, but
I think it's interesting.
The other thing I think is interesting is that Hitler actually approved the Beetle. He wanted a practical car that everyone could drive, and the Porsche company invented the Volkswagen Beetle, and Hitler approved it. He signed off. He said, "Yeah, this is the vehicle."
The Porsche folks invented.
The Porsche company invented the Beetle, yeah.
And it's a Volkswagen.
Yep.
Ooh, I'm learning lots tonight. I like.
So that's a little bit of a seedy history about the Volkswagen Beetle. You wonder how it became the
right.
The marijuana smoking.
Peace, love, and ecology. Baby.
Yeah, the Herbie the Love Bug. It seems to me that's almost like a remake. Like they reinvent. Like they did that on purpose. I wonder. I don't know that.
Could be. Could be.
So not too bad for a car dreamed up by Hitler.
You guys are great. This was a good game.
You like this one?
I like this game. Yeah.
I got a few questions. I got a few more questions after the saying of the week and the joke of the week. So I got a couple more for you if you want to stick around and see some more. But let's get to the saying of the week. We've sort of pushed a little bit long here because of my disorganization. Are you ready, Ida?
I'm ready.
Here goes Ida.
Yeah. My saying for this week is just one that popped into my head. I usually have a reason, but I don't have a reason. I just love it. Speak to your children as if they are the wisest, kindest, most beautiful, and magical humans on earth. For what they believe is what they will become.
Positive reinforcement,
Ida.
Positive
reinforcement is so important. And you say like so many kind things, but you say one thing that's really hurtful, and that doesn't get forgotten.
Can't that be extended to not just children?
I think it could be extended to every human being.
Yeah, you could just say kind things to people and make them feel, because people really are magical if you're willing to just weigh in a little bit. And there's some, everybody has a little bit of junk around them too. But if you're just willing to get past that and see the magic in everybody, I don't want to be too fluffy about that. Yeah, that's your job, but
my job is to be fluffy.
But people do. Okay, so let's do the joke. I hope I didn't spoil it for you.
I don't think you did. I think it went by so quickly nobody saw.
Because I think it's a pretty good joke.
Oh, okay.
And our jokester of the week is our friend Neryl. Neryl hasn't done a joke for a year or so.
Where's he been?
So here goes. Yeah, I haven't seen Neryl lately. So here it is. Neryl asks, did you know there once was a man who was shot 200 times by an upholstery gun?
That's not funny.
No, that's not funny. Why are you laughing?
That's horrid.
Did you know there was a man that was shot 200 times by?
No, I did not know that.
No, Neryl, what's the joke, though? He is now fully recovered.
Okay. He's now fully recovered.
Joke.
It's a joke, all right.
It didn't really happen.
We're glad it didn't really happen.
If it did happen, it had a happy ending.
Oh, my.
Oh, Neryl, you tickle me. That was a good one.
Thanks for that joke. Fully recovered.
Oh, boy. Sometimes people's jokes just catch me.
They're
brilliant would be the word I think you were looking for.
We got people laughing out loud. Kristen and